Hey there, gang. Patrick King here, coming to you live from Negley, Ohio. Just finished teaching a weekend clinic at Simmons Equestrian Center here in Negley. Today's question is going to come to us from Jody. And Jody says, I have a 6-year-old Oldenburg that I purchased as a 3-month-old. I've done all the training myself and have taken it very slowly with lots of groundwork through the Straightness Training approach. Last year, as a 5-year-old, was his first summer truly working under saddle. He has a super soft mouth and is very sensitive. I ride in a Myler 06 egg butt. I'm noticing this summer, about 3/4 of the way through my rides, he'll start to grind his teeth a bit. He remains soft and willing. Is this a sign of tiredness, or should I be searching for other reasons? He does not do this if I ride in the cavesson, only if I ride in the bit. I ride him in the Micklem bridle, as he does not like a regular noseband. I don't tighten the nose piece of the Micklem, it's quite loose. I've also tried to ride without a noseband, and he'll still do this grinding towards the end of my rides. I just want to be sure that I'm not missing something. So I'm glad to hear, Jody, that you're working with your horse and that you've been with the ideas presented in the Straightness Training program. I'm not very experienced with the program, but my good friend Meg Brauch up in Connecticut is a Straightness Training instructor here in the United States. I've had the privilege of watching some of her work and, of course, seeing some of the videos about Straightness Training online, and it seems to be a very good program. So glad to hear that there's the homework there with preparing your horse's mind and body. Any program that prepares the mind and the body is a good program in my book, if we follow it the right way. So getting into this, so he's sensitive and he has a soft mouth. Now the teeth grinding, what we want to think about generally, the two primary places that I see horses holding their tension is in their jaw and in their lower back. So the teeth grinding generally is a sign of tension of some sort. So could it be that he's getting tired about 3/4 of the way through your ride, and is that causing the tension? Yes, that could be. Could it be that he's sensitive and that bit is bothering him? Yes, that could be also. Okay, so so then we get into the discussion about the bits. So you're riding him in the Micklem 06 egg butt. I won't lie, I don't keep up with what they call all these bits now. Every company has a different name for what they call whatever their bit of the month is. So I looked that up, and it's very much like a kind of a mullen mouth with a little bit of a port in the center on an egg butt. So fairly straight with not much tongue relief. Riding him in the Micklem, that's fine. If it's adjusted well to him and it fits him well, that's fine. I've seen those bridles fit some horses, and I've seen them not fit very well on some horses also. So we just want to be sure, whatever the headgear is, that it's fitting our horse. I totally understand about the idea of riding with a noseband. Some horses are pretty sensitive, particularly in their younger years, as their teeth are changing and as the nerves could have a tendency to be irritated as the teeth are growing and the gums are a little sore. So that's something to be aware of also. That could be potentially playing a role into why that he's got some sensitivity to the noseband there. You've said that he doesn't have the teeth grinding problem when you ride him in the cavesson, but he does when you ride him in the bit. So my first question would be, are you riding him the same, with the same intensity and the same expectations in the cavesson as you are in the bit? Some riders tend to expect more when there's a bit in their horse's mouth, and some tend to expect a little bit less when they're riding just in the cavesson or hackamore, or some riders ride in the rope halter. So that's something that, I'd want to see how we're working there, but it really does sound to me, with the information that I've been provided, that bit is causing some anxiety in your horse, because you said he doesn't do it when you're riding just in the cavesson. He's only kind of doing this when the bit is present, and I love the fact that you've got both situations to compare to. You can compare, how does he ride in the bit, how does he ride without the bit. So what we want to think about, let's see, yeah, so looking over the questions, I think that kind of covered all of it. Now, of course, the question always comes up about bitting, and at some point here, I am going to be doing kind of a more in-depth bitting lecture series where we're going to talk about the way the bits function and the way the horse's face functions and jaw functions with the bits and the bridles and that sort of thing. But suffice it to say, right now we're just going to talk a little bit about this idea of that bit that you're currently using for a young horse very new to their education. Again, the palate and the tongue thickness and the bar shape and things like that of the horse's mouth, that's going to play a lot into what makes him most comfortable as far as a bit goes. I would try experimenting maybe with something a little bit different. I've got my working head stall here, my dressage bridle. You will notice my dressage bridle does not have a nose band. To me, it's just a couple more buckles that we've got to adjust. Yes, you will hear the argument that the nose band helps the bit sit in place. I think that's a bunch of garbage, to be honest with you. I've never seen that actually be the case. If it's properly adjusted, because the nose band is sitting underneath the rest of the head stall anyway. So I don't know. Now, we do have a horse at home that we were schooling. Dee Dee was schooling for a couple years rather, without the nose band. She went to compete at her first dressage show with him. Of course, she had to have the nose band on because the rules dictate that. And he was pretty sensitive with the nose band, to the point that with a little bit of wiggle in the nose band, he actually brought himself behind the vertical. So she rides him now with that all the time. One more ride later, and he was, I'd say, desensitized to it. He got used to it, okay? So it's no longer an issue. I don't put it on generally because I'm taking this bridle on and off multiple horses, and again, it's just a couple more buckles that I would have to adjust, and I don't find them to be necessary. The bit that I've got here, this is one that I find that most horses do appreciate. I don't think I've found any horses that don't care for this bit. It's what's known as a Verbinden from a company called Neue Schule. If you're interested in more information about it, we do have it on our web shop. We've got information there. You can also look up Neue Schule, their website, nsbits.com. What I like particularly about this bit, if you look at the angle of it, if I can hold it the right way for the camera here to pick it up, it's angled to fit really well, really ergonomically around the horse's tongue. The angle underneath, as well as the angle above, fits nicely under the horse's tongue, also fits nicely sitting in the palate when the tongue softens and the horse relaxes. So this idea of our horse grinding their teeth, again, getting back to that, the grinding the teeth is caused by anxiety. Could it be anxiety because this horse is tired 3/4 of the way through the ride? Sure, depending on how fit he is. That's something that could be a realistic expectation. Now, I would try to not ride him to the point that the teeth are grinding. Even though he's soft and sensitive, it sounds like there could be a little bit much going on for him for the kind of sensitivity that he carries. So, and Jody, with the work that you're saying that you've done and kind of the program it sounds like you're following, I would expect it's more in the gear than your hands, but I would have to see a video of that. And please, if you're willing, please send me a video for evaluation there. So I would recommend trying a different bit, maybe trying a Verbinden like this, any kind of 3-piece bit essentially that's going to rest comfortably over your horse's tongue is something that I would think about. That's an avenue that I would head. I'm not big on changing bits all the time. If you ride in clinics with me, you'll see most of the time I'll let people ride in darn near whatever they want to. To me, it's about the understanding that comes through the bridle, through the rider, through the reins. But in this case, it sounds like the bit that you're using on your horse might just be a little bit too much for him, and it's causing some anxiety. So, Jody, I do hope that you'll keep me posted with your progress. Again, the invitation is there. Send a video if you would like to. I'd love to evaluate that for you. If you found this helpful, please feel free, share this video. If you have some friends that maybe are having an issue like this and you think that this advice might help them, please tag them in the comment section below this video. Again, if you're interested in finding out more information on the Verbinden bit, that is available through our website, through our web shop at pkhorsemanship.com. Also, going to kind of show off this fancy masculine blingy brow band that I've got here. That came from Blackjack Refinery. You can find them on Etsy, you can find them on Facebook, you can find them on Instagram. I'm super pleased with that custom blingy brow band. So anyway, question of the day for everybody out there, since we're talking about bits. What kind of bit are you currently riding your horse in? How does he care for it? Does he like it? Does he not? Are you thinking about changing? What's your favorite bit? And what kind of bit are you riding your horse in currently? Okay, gang. Look forward to hearing your answers. Please leave those in the comment section below this video. And don't forget, you keep sending in questions and I'll keep talking about horses.